The crimson warships of the Kithran hegemony moved through space like deadly hunters. For 3,000 years, these alien warriors had conquered every world they found. Their way was simple: attack fast, destroy everything, and make the survivors obey. Supreme Commander Veltar stood on his flagship, watching another world burn. The planet Altair Prime was dying below them. Cities were on fire in perfect patterns. The aliens had bombed them for exactly 47 minutes. Soon their ground troops would finish the job. Another world belongs to us now, said Subcommander Crixbull. His insect-like mouthparts clicked as he spoke. The Altarians fought hard, but their weapons were too weak. They gave up too easily. Veltar had 4 eyes, and all of them stayed focused on his battle screens. 3,000 years of war had taught him one thing: every alien race would surrender if you hit them hard enough. Some gave up when they saw the Kithran ships. Others needed their cities bombed first. A few had to watch their whole planet burn, but they all gave up in the end. Good. Tell our garrison ships to take control. Move to the next star system. He looked at his star maps. There are still some worlds out there that have not learned to obey us yet. His tactical officer was an old warrior named Vexron. He pointed to a yellow star on the display. Commander, our scout ships found something here. The third planet has life on it. They look primitive. The planet has many separate countries. They use chemical rockets. Very basic stuff. How primitive are they? They cannot travel faster than light. Their best weapons are nuclear bombs. They have no shields around their planet. No united army to defend themselves. Veltar's face showed what his species called a smile. An easy victory to end our campaign here. Send the 17th Conquest Fleet. Use standard attack methods. The orders went out through the Kithran communication system. None of the alien commanders knew they had just made a terrible mistake. The small blue and green world around the star called Sol was about to show the galaxy's most feared warriors what it meant to fight humans. The planet looked weak from space. The Kithrans could see its divided nations and primitive technology. They saw a world that fought itself instead of preparing for outside threats. It seemed like the easiest conquest they had ever attempted. Veltar had conquered hundreds of worlds. Each one followed the same pattern. First came fear when the Kithran ships appeared. Then came desperate attempts to fight back with inferior weapons. Finally came surrender and acceptance of Kithran rule. The aliens had studied human history through their long-range sensors. They saw wars between human nations. They saw weapons that seemed laughably weak compared to Kithran technology. They saw a species that could not even unite to explore their own solar system properly. What they did not see was what made humans different from every other species in the galaxy. The Kithrans had never fought species that got more dangerous. When cornered, they had never encountered beings who would rather die fighting than live as slaves. They had never met creatures who could turn their own weaknesses into strengths. Most importantly, they had never faced a species that learned from every battle and adapted faster than their enemies could respond. The blue planet Earth looked peaceful from a distance. Its white clouds and green continents seemed to promise an easy victory. The Kithran fleet began moving toward this new target, confident in their overwhelming superiority. But deep beneath Earth's surface, in hidden bunkers and secret facilities, humans were already preparing for war. They'd been watching the stars for decades, wondering when something might come from the darkness between worlds. Some human leaders had suspected this day would come. They had built weapons in secret. They had made plans that seemed impossible. They had prepared their people for a war that might mean the end of everything they loved. The Kithrans saw Earth's divisions and assumed weakness. They did not understand. The humans were most dangerous when they had something to protect. They did not realize that a species willing to fight each other over small differences would become absolutely deadly when facing a common enemy. The alien fleet moved through space toward Earth, carrying weapons that could destroy planets and armies that had never known defeat. They expected to add humanity to their long list of conquered species. Instead, they were about to learn why some worlds should never be touched. The Kithran hegemony had crushed 1,000 worlds across the galaxy. The red ships were feared by every civilization that had ever seen them. Their warriors were trained from birth to conquer and destroy, but they had never fought humans before. They had never encountered a species that treated impossible odds as just another challenge to overcome. They had never met beings who would sacrifice everything to protect their freedom. The small blue world spinning peacefully around its yellow star was about to teach the galaxy's greatest predators what it truly meant to hunt the wrong prey. Earth was waiting. 3 weeks passed before the alien war. Fleet reached Earth's solar system. The massive ships appeared suddenly near the moon, their dark hulls blocking out stars. Fleet Commander Nexvar stood on his command bridge, looking at reports about the blue planet below. "This will be easy," said Chief Analyst Zorkith, as he read the data. "The humans have over 200 different countries on one world. They spend all their time fighting each other instead of building defenses against outside enemies." "Excellent," Nexvar replied with satisfaction. "Divided planets always give up quickly. They cannot work together to fight us when they are too busy fighting themselves." The alien fleet moved into position around Earth's moon. Their weapons were ready, but not yet aimed at the planet. This was how they always did it. Arrive, show their power, make demands, wait for surrender, then take control. They had done this same thing hundreds of times before. "Send our message to every human city," Nexvar ordered. "Let them hear what will happen to them." The alien computers translated the message into every human language. Nexvar's voice went out across every radio, television, and internet signal on Earth. Billions of humans heard his words at the same time. "People of Earth, I am Fleet Commander Nexvar of the Kithrin hegemony. We have chosen your world to join our great empire. You have seen our ships arrive. Your simple technology has found us. You know you cannot fight us and win."
Alien government.
Buildings around the world, human leaders watched their screens in shock. The alien ships were enormous. Each one was bigger than the largest human warships. Strange weapons covered their hulls like deadly thorns. "You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Bring your leaders to the places we will tell you. Give us your armies to serve under our command. Accept our rule, and your people will be allowed to live under hegemony control." Nexvar stopped speaking for a moment. He wanted the humans to think about what he had said. This was the part where most species began to panic. "If you refuse, you will die like all the other worlds that chose to fight us instead of being smart. Your cities will burn to ash. Your people will be destroyed. Your planet will become a warning to others about what happens when you resist us." The message ended. On the alien ships, the commanders sat back to wait. Some species surrendered in just a few hours. Others used the full 3 days to think about it. But they all surrendered eventually. The Kithrins had never met humans before. They did not know what they were dealing with in the underground command center in Seoul. General Kim Tae-ho stared at the impossible images on his screens. President Lee So-young was connected from her secure bunker, along with leaders from every major nation on Earth. "The ships are real," reported Admiral Park Min-soo from the Naval Command Center. "We count 247 vessels. Each one is about 800 meters long. Their energy output is beyond anything we have ever seen." "Cannot surrender," President Lee said firmly. "If we give up now, humans become slaves forever." "But what can we do?" asked President Chen. Wei Ming from China. "Our best fighter jets can barely reach the edge of space. Their technology is hundreds of years ahead of ours." Dr. Han Gi-woo from the Emergency Science Council spoke up. "Maybe not as far ahead as they think. I have been studying their radio signals. Their technology is advanced, but it follows patterns we can understand, if we can figure out how it works." Dr. General Kim interrupted. "We do not have time for long experiments. They want an answer in 3 days, then we give them one," said Colonel Yang Soo-jin from the Air Force. "We use every plane, every missile, every weapon we have. If we are going to die, we die fighting back." What happened next surprised everyone, including the aliens watching from space. Instead of panic and chaos, something amazing began to happen on Earth. Old enemies became friends overnight. Countries that had been fighting for decades suddenly started working together. North and South Korea opened their borders to each other for the first time in 70 years. China and Japan shared their space technology. Russia gave its best weapons to NATO countries. India and Pakistan pointed their nuclear missiles at the sky instead of at each other. The aliens had made a big mistake. They saw that humans fought each other and thought this made them weak. They did not understand that humans were most dangerous when they had a common enemy to fight. Within hours, every military base on Earth was working together. Fighter jets took off from airfields on every continent. Naval ships loaded with experimental weapons left their hidden bases. Nuclear submarines surfaced all around the world, their missile tubes aimed at the stars. But the most important thing happened in a small room deep under New York City. Secretary General Kim Ho-Yen-woo of the United Nations prepared to send a reply to the alien demand. His message would go out on every frequency the aliens used. Every human on Earth would hear it, and it would tell the Kithrans something they had never heard before in 3,000 years of conquest. The answer was no. General Kim Tae-ho stood deep underground in the secret command center built inside the Korean mountains. Around him, screens showed the terrible sight of alien warships floating near Earth's moon. Leaders from every country on Earth were connected through secure communication links, their faces showing fear but also determination. "Our satellites have counted them," reported Admiral Park Min-soo from the naval headquarters. 247 enemy ships in space around us. Each ship is about 800 meters long. The energy coming from their weapons is more powerful than anything we have ever seen. "We cannot give up," said President Lee So-young from her protected bunker under the Blue House. "If we surrender now, humans will become slaves forever. We will be just another conquered race in their empire." President Chen Wei-ming from China agreed. "Yes, but what can we possibly do? Our best fighter planes can barely fly to the edge of space. Their technology is hundreds of years more advanced than ours." Dr. Han Gi-woo from the emergency science team had been studying the alien signals. "Maybe their technology is not as far ahead as we think. I have been looking at their radio transmissions. Their systems are advanced, but they work in ways we can understand if we can learn how they function." Dr. General Kim said, cutting him off, "We do not have time for long research projects. The aliens want our answer in 72 hours. Then we give them an answer they will never forget," said Colonel Yang Soo-jin from Air Force Command. "We use every fighter plane we have, every missile, every satellite, every weapon. If we are going to die, we will die fighting back." Happened in the next 6 hours would be remembered forever as the moment when humanity showed its true strength. Ancient enemies became friends in a single day. North Korea and South Korea opened their borders to each other for the first time in decades. China and Japan combined their space programs. Russia shared its best military secrets with NATO countries. India and Pakistan stopped aiming their nuclear weapons at each other and pointed them at the sky instead. The aliens had made a huge mistake in how they understood humans. They saw that Earth had many different countries that sometimes fought each other. They thought this made humans weak and unable to work together. They did not realize that humans become most dangerous when they face a common enemy. Fighter jets took off from every airbase on Edwa. Their engines had been quickly modified with experimental technology that let them fly much higher than they were designed for. Warships with new experimental weapons came out of hidden bases that had been carved into the ocean floor. Nuclear submarines surfaced all around the world at the same time. Missile tubes all pointed toward space. But what worried the watching aliens most was the message that came through their own communication systems. It was broadcast from every major city on Earth. It went out on every radio frequency. It was spoken in dozens of different languages. But the message was the same everywhere. The voice belonged to Secretary General Kim Ho-Yen-woo of the United Nations. He was speaking from the emergency meeting held in deep bunkers far beneath New York City. To the Kithran hegemony, his voice rang out across space and reached every alien ship. "We have received your demand that we surrender. Here is our answer. No, we will not surrender. We will not submit to your rule. We will not kneel before you. If you want our world, come and try to take it. You will discover that humans have a very different idea of what the word conquest means." The message ended, but its effect was immediate. On every Kithran ship, Alarm systems began sounding as human weapons all across the planet came online. Radar systems that had been hidden activated. Missile bases opened their launch doors. Fighter squadrons filled the skies. Fleet Commander Nexvar stood on his bridge in shock. In 3,000 years of conquest, no species had ever responded. Like this, most races either surrendered immediately or tried to negotiate for better terms. A few had attempted to fight back, but they had done so with fear and desperation. The humans were different. Their response showed no fear. Instead, it showed anger and determination. It was the response of a species that would rather die free than live as slaves. "Sir," reported his tactical officer, "energy readings from the planet are increasing rapidly. They are powering up weapon systems across their entire world." "Impossible," Nexvar muttered. "Their technology is primitive. What threat could they possibly pose to us?" But as he watched his displays, he saw something that had never happened before in the history of the Kithrin Empire. The prey was not running away. The prey was not hiding. The prey was not begging for mercy. The prey was preparing to attack. For the first time in 3,000 years, hunters realized they might have chosen the wrong target. Earth was not going to be another easy conquest. The small blue planet was about to show the galaxy what happened when you threatened the wrong species. The war was about to begin. What the alien commanders thought would be a quick 3-day victory turned into a terrible nightmare that went on for weeks. The human response was completely different from anything in the Kithrin military records. Fleet. Commander Nexvar walked back and forth on his command bridge, reading battle reports that made no sense to him. How are their simple aircraft flying so high into space? He asked his tactical officer angrily. "We do not know, sir. Our scientists think they have changed their engines with some kind of chemical boost system. The human pilots are experiencing forces that should kill them, but they keep attacking us anyway." "What about their military bases on the ground?" "That is even worse, sir. Every time we find and destroy one of their bases, 3 more appear from underground tunnels. Their weapons factories seem to be spread across their whole planet. Cannot stop their production because there is no single target to attack." Nexvar made clicking sounds with his mouth parts, showing his anger and confusion. This was not how conquests were supposed to work. By now, the humans should have been crying for mercy, offering to give up their leaders, begging for a chance to serve the hegemony. Instead, they fought with a savage intensity that made his experienced warriors very uncomfortable. "Sir," called Communications Officer Vextel. "From across the bridge, we are getting reports from our boarding teams." "What kind of reports?" "The humans. They are fighting our soldiers with their hands inside the ships we have damaged. They use metal bars and bullets. Some of them fight with nothing but their bare hands." The bridge became completely quiet. The Kithrin Empire had not fought against species using primitive weapons for over 1,000 years. Most civilizations surrendered long before fighting came down to personal combat. "Several of our boarding teams have been defeated," Vexel continued, not wanting to say the words. "The humans do not seem to feel fear. They attack our warriors even when they are outnumbered, even when they are badly hurt, even when what? Even when they know they are going to die, sir. They continue fighting anyway." Captain Park Young-soo, of the South Korean Air Force, had crashed his damaged fighter plane into the landing bay of a Kithrin warship. He crawled through the alien hallways, holding a rifle in one hand while dragging his broken leg behind. Behind him, he could hear the sounds of battle as his team fought the alien crew. He found what he was looking for in the ship's engine room, the main computer system. Using methods that Dr. Han Ji-woo had sent to all human forces, he began copying the alien technical information. The Kithrins had never fought a species that could steal and copy their technology while still fighting the war. Before the Kithrin soldiers could reach the engine room, Perk had already sent the stolen data back to Earth. He smiled at the alien warriors who now surrounded him and spoke in English, which he had learned during training with other countries. "You want to know what makes humans different? We do not just fight to win for ourselves. We fight so the next person can win after us." The explosion that came next destroyed the ship's entire engine section. But the technical data was already traveling toward Earth at the speed of light. where human engineers were working day and night to turn alien technology into weapons against its creators. Back on Earth, Dr. Han Juo and his team worked in underground laboratories studying every piece of alien technology they could get, each crashed ship, each damaged weapon, each piece of equipment gave them new information. Their plasma weapons work on a frequency we can copy, Dr. Han announced to the Emergency Science Council. If we can build our own versions, we can fight back with equal power. How long do you need? Asked General Kim Tae-ho. Give me 72 hours, and I can give you weapons that will surprise them. Meanwhile, Major Lee Dong-wook led a team of engineers who were rebuilding human fighter jets using alien technology. They worked in factories hidden deep underground, safe from alien bombing attacks. The alien metal is stronger than anything we have, he reported. But it can be cut and shaped with our tools. It can make our planes faster and stronger. All across Earth, similar scenes were taking place. In hidden bases under mountains, human workers built new weapons. In underwater facilities, naval engineers created ships that could fight in space. In secret laboratories, scientists learned alien secrets and turned them against their enemies. The Kithrin Empire had always won through overwhelming force and quick surrender. They had never learned how to fight a species that saw death as an acceptable price for victory. They had never encountered beings who could learn from every battle and become stronger with each defeat. Most importantly, they had never fought. A species where each person was willing to die so that others could live and fight on. The war that was supposed to end in 3 days was now entering its 4th week. And for the first time in 3,000 years of conquest, the Kithrins were beginning to realize they might not win. The humans were teaching them something new about war. Sometimes the prey fights back, and sometimes the prey wins. Veltar watched the screens with growing anger. The human planet looked broken from space, but something was wrong. Too many lights still glowed on the dark side. Too many ships moved between the debris fields. Show me the casualty reports, he ordered. The data made his blood run cold. The 17th Fleet had lost 60% of its ships. 60% against a single, primitive world. In the 1,000-year history of the hegemony, no conquest had cost so much. Sir, the energy readings are increasing, warned the sensor officer. Whatever they're building down there, it's massive. Veltar studied the tactical display. The humans had somehow turned their entire planet into a weapon. Underground factories pumped out ships and weapons using stolen Kithrin technology. Cities that should have been ash were somehow still fighting from deep bunkers. How many humans are left? He asked. Estimates suggest 3 billion, sir. Down from 8 billion when we arrived. 5 billion dead, and they still resist. Veltar could not understand it. Every other species had surrendered after losing half their population. The humans had lost more than half, and seemed to fight harder than ever. On the screen, Earth began to glow. Massive energy beams erupted from dozens of points across the planet's surface. The beams struck 3 of Veltar's ships before they could raise shields. The vessels simply vanished in balls of white fire. Return fire? Destroy those weapon platforms? The hegemony fleet unleashed everything they had. Plasma bolts and fusion bombs rained down on Earth's surface. Mountains melted, oceans boiled. Continents cracked, but the beams kept firing. Some up. Impossibly, the humans kept fighting from deep inside their wounded world. Sir, we're detecting launch signatures. Hundreds of them. Small ships rose from Earth like angry insects. They were crude things, built from scrap metal and powered by reactors that should have exploded. But they moved fast and struck hard. Each one carried a human crew that seemed to have no fear of death. They're ramming our ships, sir. They're actually ramming us. Veltar watched in horror as human pilots drove their tiny vessels straight into hegemony cruisers. The impacts barely scratched the larger ships, but the humans kept coming. Wave after wave of suicide attacks that made no strategic sense, but somehow worked. Sir, the dreadnought Kethmar is reporting critical damage. A human ship somehow got through their shields and exploded inside their engine room. How is that possible? Unknown, sir. The human vessel appeared to phase through solid matter for exactly 3 seconds. Just long enough to penetrate the hull, Veltar realized the humans were not just fighting with stolen technology. They were improving it, learning from every battle, adapting faster than should be possible. Another wave of energy beams erupted. From Earth, this time they moved differently, bending through space in ways that defied physics. 5 more hegemony ships died in seconds. Sir, Admiral Krexina is requesting permission to retreat. He's lost half his squadron. Denied. We are the hegemony. We do not retreat from primitives. But even as he spoke, Veltar felt doubt creeping into his mind. These humans were not like any enemy they had faced. Other species fought to protect their lives. Humans seemed to fight because they could not imagine doing anything else. Supreme Commander, we're detecting massive energy buildups across the entire planet. Whatever they're preparing, it's bigger than anything we've seen. On the display, Earth began to pulse with light. Deep beneath the scarred surface, the humans were preparing something terrible. Veltar could feel it in his bones, a wrongness that made his ancient warrior instincts scream warnings. Sir, incoming transmission from Earth. They want to talk. Put it through. The face that appeared on screen was human, scarred and bloody but unbroken. The creature's eyes held no fear, only cold determination. I am General Sarah Chen of the Earth Defense Forces. You have one chance to leave our system. Take it, Veltar laughed, but the sound felt forced. You are beaten, human. Your world is dying. Surrender now, and some of your people might survive. Don't surrender. We don't break, and we definitely don't run. The human's smile was terrifying, but you should. The transmission ended. A moment later, Earth exploded. Not the planet itself, but something far worse. Every piece of Kithrin technology the humans had captured, every weapon they had built, every ship they had constructed, all of it activated at once. Space around Earth became a storm of energy that tore through the hegemony fleet like paper. In 30 seconds, the most powerful fleet in hegemony history simply ceased to exist. Only Veltar's flagship survived, shields barely holding against the impossible storm. As his damaged ship limped away from the Sol system, Veltar understood why Nexvar had looked so broken. The humans had not just defeated them, shown the hegemony something it had never seen before. A species that would rather die fighting than live in chains.